Back here at East Lake High School. Coming up top of the hour, first round basketball playoff action tonight. Sweetwater taking on the East Lake Titans. Should be a heck of a ball game tonight. Kick off our high school playoff coverage over the next couple of weeks. We've got a total of 13 games, both men and women, we're going to be doing either on Double X or on Mighty 1090 or ESPN 1700. Well, a guy that had to be very happy last night. His team was able to get back on the winning ways, and that's the assistant basketball coach for San Diego State. Mark Fisher joins us on the Western Exterminator hotline on the Mighty 1090. And Coach Fisher, congratulations on a solid victory last night.
Thank you, Coach. It was much needed. How's everything going with you?
Good. Looking forward to seeing some good young talent out here tonight.
That sounds great. That's a fun time.
Yeah, a lot of fun this time of year, and you guys were focusing in on now, trying to get James Rahan healthy. I don't know if he's going to be able to give it a go on Saturday against Nevada, but the Wolfpack comes in, and they got an awful record, but they got a couple of guys that can do some damage, Mark.
They sure do, Coach. They got such a dangerous backcourt in Deontay Burton and Malik Story, so potent, and if you can't contain those two guards, you're going to have a heck of a hard time stopping them from scoring. They're very good offensively. They have played four guards around a post who's capable of shooting threes. And Chase Tapley did a terrific job on Deontay Burton in our first game. I'm not sure how that matchup will go, Coach, with Xavier back in the starting lineup. But Chase will have his hands full with either Deontay or Malik.
Hey, Mark, let's talk about James Rahan. He's got a sprained right shoulder right now. Was he able to do anything today other than just get treatment and maybe ride a stationary bike to keep his conditioning level up?
You know, today was our off day this week since we played the Tuesday game. We practiced Sunday and we took the day off, so James spent the day rehabbing. We urged him not to try to shoot today. He's so desperate to get back on the floor. He wants to play Saturday so badly, but it's all going to be based on pain tolerance. Can he get that, arm up in a shooting motion? And I think time will tell. I think he'll be a game time decision is my guess. I was thinking he would probably be ready for the midweek game next week, but he's convinced that he's going to try to play on Saturday. So we'll see how it goes.
Mark Fisher, our guest on the Western Exterminator hotline here on the Mighty 1090. Well, I guess if I was sitting over there with a sprained shoulder and the guy that was playing and getting my minutes went out there and had as good a game as he's had at the collegiate level, Dwayne Polee, I'd want to get back in a hurry as well.
Good point. Thankfully, we got a lot of good kids who care about each other and are genuinely happy for each other, but I'm sure that was going through his mind a little bit. But, yeah, it was great to see Dwayne play well. He is a capable three-point shooter, and we've told him, when you're open, you got to take it and make it. He made them. And now, as you know, Coach, the key will be he's had two pretty good offensive games. Let's see how that's going to play out in a game maybe that's tied or a two-point game either way rather than one where we're very comfortable with the lead. I'm very confident that he can do that. And, we've got to find minutes for him, as Coach said in the interview after the game, because he's a heck of a player.
Hey, Mark, what kind of practice player is he? Because, I know coming out of high school, he was very much heralded. He went and played for Steve Lavin that freshman year, and his mom got ill, and he decided to come back. And, I know San Diego State had recruited him pretty hard to try to get him down here. Of course, there's a connection with one of the other assistants, Tony Bland, who had a great career at Westchester and started at San Diego State. But what kind of practice player is he?
He is an extremely hard worker. He's a very good listener. He's just one of those kids who's willing to do whatever you ask, and when he's coached, a breath of fresh air in this generation, he never has anything to say back, which is always a nice thing. So he's as good as you could hope for, Coach. I mean, he's got a lot of tools. He's also has a lot of teammates that have played really, really well. You're talking about Jamal Franklin and J.J. O'Brien and guys that it's hard to take off the floor, but, he's proven himself valuable, especially as a guy that can potentially make open shots and be a very good perimeter defender.
I'm glad you brought up J.J. O'Brien because I've been watching his game quite a bit, and there's some nights where, he's not a great perimeter guy, but he's a guy that does a lot of things that coaches absolutely love. You know, he garners weak side rebounds. He blocks his man out. He'll make a nice, strong move along the baseline occasionally. But to me, you know, he was out that year. He was at Utah. He redshirted last year. I know he practiced his tail off. But it's not like game action. And as the season's gone on, I'm seeing more and more of that rust coming off, and I'm seeing a much more consistent ball player.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's willing to do whatever you ask. You know, he doesn't need touches offensively. As you've probably noticed, we've been throwing it to him more in the mid-post area and in the elbow for isolation sweep scenarios because he's such a good player off the dribble, and he's being guarded by post players. He's such a coachable guy. His basketball IQ is off the charts, and he's gotten more and more comfortable as the year's gone on, being a bit more assertive. As you said, he's been rebounding well, he's been guarding well, but now all of a sudden he's become a threat offensively, which expands everyone else's game when you have to worry about him catching it there at about 12, 15 feet.
Yeah, and he's only a sophomore. And then you got Winston Shepard, a freshman that was a huge recruit for San Diego State. And, you know, early in the year, you'd agree with me. I mean, he looked like a deer in headlights out there, and he wasn't very productive. And now he's getting in there, starting to play like a seasoned pro. Yeah,
he was, you know, made the transition from power forward in high school, trying to become a point guard in high Division I college basketball. And, you know, even playing your own position is difficult to transition to our level, let alone switching positions. He's gotten better every day in practice, every game. There's been some hiccups and some setbacks in game situations. He's got to be more consistent, not turning the ball over. But his offense has really come along. Defensively, he's getting better. He's got to be able to navigate screens both on and off ball a little bit better. But yeah, he's very productive, Coach, and he's been a great compliment to Xavier as a point guard.
Well, I want to talk about Xavier because I know he played 32 minutes in Vegas. Last night he played 26, and, you know, it was probably good that you were able to get him out of there. He had the big league. He still played 26 minutes and for a guy that hadn't been playing consistently because of that back problem. And, you know, last night didn't score, had a couple of rebounds, couple of assists. And is he fighting himself at all, Mark, just because you know what the guy's capable of? He knows what he's capable of. And right now it just doesn't look like he's right.
Yeah, I think what happened, Coach, is, as you and I spoke about a few weeks ago, he was worried about the back, you know, second-guessing, would it lock up again, and would it spasm? And I think he finally just hit a moment where he said, you know what, this isn't going to get better overnight. It's probably not going to get better with a week or 10 days off. I've just got to see what I can do. And, you know, I applaud him for that. He's not the Xavier we have all grown to know. What percent is he? I couldn't tell you. You know, he might be able to better tell you than me, but he has so much value out there as a communicator, as a guy that kind of can be a cohesive leader. You know, he's our best perimeter defender, even though he can't quite move the way he used to. He's very good off ball screens, as you said, even though he's not quite the Xavier that we normally see off a ball screen. But we just need his presence out there. He helps the rotation in terms of people playing in the right positions. And I would agree with you. I don't think he's 100%. But I take Xavier at 80 or 75 over no Xavier at all.
Hey, Mark, regarding the NCAA tournament, I know it's too early to tell, but you guys look at all the RPIs and, you know, all the different numbers that are out there. Right now, just if we were going to pick the tournament here in 5 minutes, how many teams do you figure from the Mountain West Conference right now are going to get into the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think you're looking at 4 with a very high likelihood. Obviously, New Mexico, Colorado State have played phenomenally well. Us and Vegas are on the right side of the bubble right now, and I think you've got Boise and Air Force that are legitimate, you know, probably off the bubble but capable of playing their way in. I know they're playing right now. I saw the halftime score, I believe, was Boise by 1 in a really good game. I think whoever wins that game has a chance, Coach, but if we're picking it today, it would probably be 4, but I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, one of those other 2 teams finds a way to play their way in.
Well, I would agree with you right now. And, of course, you guys got a couple of more home games. You got Air Force. You want to return that favor, and you want to get Nevada coming up on Saturday. And then you got a couple of very difficult road games. You got to go to La Pitt next week, and then you close out the regular season up at Boise State, and that's not going to be a day at the beach.
No, sir. This league is proven to be difficult to navigate, and Coach, our last 4 games, we've probably played as well at both ends of the floor consistently over a 4-game stretch as we played all year, and yet we're 2-2. 2 road games we could have won but didn't, and that speaks to the difficulty of the league, and it also, shows how much you have to respect what New Mexico and Colorado State have done, not dropping any of those games against teams that maybe on paper you say you shouldn't lose to.
Hey, last question. Where are you guys at in recruiting? How many scholarships do you have to give in April if you choose to use them?
Well, we're approaching it as if we have 3. Obviously, as you know, that can always change based on, people's personal decisions. And I would say, Coach, I think we've talked about this. I would anticipate us adding 2 more guys. We always like to hold one for transfers. We've had a lot of success on the transfer market with high-impact guys. I think we're going to add 2. I wouldn't be surprised if, we're going to look hard at some junior college players. We're going to need somebody to step in to the 2-guard role and really have the ability to score. I think Matt Shrigley is going to be terrific as a freshman. I think Dakari Allen will be really good. But, it's hard to put that much pressure on those 2 guys to come in as freshmen and produce with those kind of numbers. So I think we're going to look all over the map, transfers, JUCO, and maybe a high school guy out there late. And I wouldn't be surprised if we added 2, but who knows? Maybe more.
Well, you and Coach Dutcher and Coach Bland have to find a guy about 6'9", 6'10", about 255 to 260 pounds that you can pound the ball in down low when you need an easy bucket or get to the charity stripe.
That sounds good to me, Coach. You let me know when you see one, and I'll do my best to get him signed.
We're going to put out an APB for a big man for San Diego State next year. Mark Fisher, good luck on Saturday at home against Nevada, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
You're welcome. Mark Fisher, always enjoy having Mark on the program. We'll get to the bottom.